Sal Paolantonio, ESPN, has been on the scene all week long in Philadelphia. He appears via the Boardwalk Honda Hotline, brought to you by Dunkin' Donuts. Fuel up on Eagles game day with $1 medium coffees from Dunkin' Donuts. Sal Pal, a NFC Championship Sunday in Philly. You can't have it any other way, man.
Oh, it's going to be great. It really is. The team is in an extraordinarily good place, Mike. I've watched the transformation of the team from underdog to feeling really confident about what they can do. I was super impressed with the way they have practiced this week. I was in the locker room talking to both Nick Foles and Zach Ertz about the high-flying offense and how much confidence they seem to have developed, especially in the second half of that game against the Falcons, and how it's carried over to practice this week, Mike. I think one of the most important things for people to focus on when you're looking at Nick Foles and going back to that game is how really good they did in the second half throwing quick, short throws. I think Doug Peterson and Frank Reich and John DeFilippo deserve a lot of credit for putting a game plan in place and tactics in place to allow Foles to really flourish and gain confidence. You know, he snap to release was 2.24 seconds on average for Nick Foles against the Falcons. That's Tom Brady country. And it's extraordinary how quickly he got the ball out of his hands. And, you know, this was something going into the game that they were really concerned about. We were all concerned about it.
No doubt. Sal, I thought you asked a lot of poignant questions this week around that regarding Foles. Like, as the game progressed, did they feel better about where Foles was and felt better about their ability to expand the play calling based on the way he looked in that game?
Well, what they did is they went back to Chip Kelly light. They you know, in fact, Zach Ertz told me today in the locker room, it was just like the Nick Foles of old, you know, and it was a direct reference to when Chip Kelly was here. You know, it was zone read inside, zone read outside, play action off the zone read. Nick Foles' ability as a high school basketball player, as a point guard kind of a player, he really has good hands at the line of scrimmage. And they really utilized that so that he could get the ball out quickly, and throw short completions, one read, deliver the football on time.
They waited until the second half, and you asked this about running more of that. Do you think that was by design, or do you think we'll see that earlier in the game Sunday night?
I don't know the answer to that, Mike. That's a really good question. I think it was by design Saturday night for sure, mostly because I think they felt like things were a little sluggish in the first half. So I'm not sure what you'll see against the Vikings. Remember, the Vikings are, you know, they're different in many ways than the Falcons, and they rush 4 and cover with 7 and play press man coverage at the line of scrimmage. So that's a different defense. Now, with Zendejo, they are a much better defense and a much different defense. They can take a little bit more risks in their press man coverage. Without him, you saw in the second half, what did Mike Zimmer do? He started to back the corners off a little bit because he was afraid of the deep ball, right? So I'm interested to see what Zimmer does specifically in this game. Now, Drew Brees and that Saints offense, different threat than Foles and this offense, right?
Yeah.
No question.
No doubt. No doubt.
No doubt. You know, there's less speed, less explosiveness than the Saints have, less savviness and experience than Drew Brees. So I think it'll be fascinating in the chess match, especially early on. But to me, Mike, the outlier here is Jim Schwartz against Case Keenum. You know, I just think Jim Schwartz has done a phenomenal job throughout the season, and he really earned his money against the Falcons. That safety blitz, after the 1st and 10.
After they kicked it out of bounds.
After Jake Elliott kicked it out of bounds, that safety blitz from McLeod on the weak side, that was brilliant.
Hey, Sal, do you think that did you sense this week that the team was feeding off of Foles getting into a groove, that they felt more confident because they saw Nick getting more confident?
No question about it. They all talked about it, and you could see it grow on a day-to-day basis, because I think they were kind of looking, okay, we had what happened Saturday night. We had 2-day layoff Sunday and Monday. Players were off. What's he going to be like on Wednesday? Is he going to be back to where he was last week? Or is he going to be the guy who played in the second half Saturday night? And they got the guy who was playing in the second half Saturday night.
Well, this is the first week really since the Giant week where he knew he was the quarterback and getting a full regular week of practice. And I wonder if the coaching staff has seen Nick sharper in terms of his preparation this week, knowing that, hey, there's no Christmas night, I'm not playing a couple of series, that he has a full known week as the starter practicing. And does he look more prepared this week because of that?
Yeah, he had an 18-day layoff, remember? So people have to understand that from Christmas night till the divisional playoff game against the Falcons, it was 18 days. So, yeah, it's going to take him a little bit of time. Now he's got a full week of practice. And he did throw 27 touchdown passes and 2 interceptions once upon a time. He did go to the Pro Bowl. He did throw, 6 or 7 TDs in one game, I forget, against Oakland. So, he's got a body of work.
Yeah, man. And, one of the stories last week was that the team went to Doug and asked to hit and have an intense practice. Was there an intensity in similar this week? Did they say, look, we want to stay in that mode?
Wednesday and Thursday, both.
Wow. I know you asked, Monday, about the special team stuff, and that they sat down with Dave Fitt because Atlanta, Sal, only scored based on 2 special team snafus. They can't have that happen on Sunday night.
Totally agree. And it was Peterson talking to Fitt on Sunday and Monday, Mike. 2 days. So it was a point of emphasis for him. Listen, teams don't survive a game where you have 3 special teams gaffes, a muffed punt, a missed extra point, and a kick out of bounds. That's the trifecta.
Eagles end up giving up 10 points on that. If that happens on Sunday, 10 points, Sal, might be enough to win this game. I mean, it's going to be an ugly – and by the way, you sent me the email that reporting that the field has been resodded in the middle of that field because, a lot of people were concerned, or possibly if you're on the Eagles side, the Minnesota side saying that could slow their defense down. It could be a factor in this game.
Yeah, I found out early this afternoon that the new sod was put down on Monday from goal line to goal line, right between the numbers. And we saw it. Falcons and Eagles players slipping. We heard about it. The Vikings players and equipment staff saying they were going to bring different kinds of cleated shoes to see what would work. So they got a new sod down. But, hey, you ever try to put sod down in January?
Getting that sod laid down at any time it's not a fast process.
I've never tried to put sod down in January. I don't know about you.
No, this is not the time of the year to be going out and doing putting new sod in for the.
Mike, anybody listening to this show knows it's not hard to put sod. It's hard to put sod in. But
right.
In January, it's nearly impossible.
Well, we're lucky to see that the Eagles get this home field. In the end, Sal, give me what you think is the key to this particular matchup, because these two teams have so many similarities.
I think number one, first and foremost, it's Jim Schwartz's diabolical mind and his ability to anticipate and make the right calls, and their ability, the Eagles' ability to just rotate the kinds of players in that they need. I think Jim Schwartz right now, notwithstanding Bill Belichick and Matt Patricia up in New England, I think Jim Schwartz is the outlier right now. As you mentioned, if the ball doesn't bounce off of Brian Brayman's derriere, I don't think the Falcons score a touchdown in that game. So I think it's Jim Schwartz against Pat Shurmur and Case Keenum, and I like the Eagles' odds in that. I think that's number one. I think number two, it's so simple. The Eagles have to run the football and try to keep Nick Foles into manageable second and third down situations. That's really simple. And number three, Mike, you just mentioned it. You can't have forget three, forget two. No special teams gaffes, nothing.
I like the. By the way, can they run the ball against Minnesota? Everybody feels like this Minnesota team is like the Purple People Eaters. Are they on that level? I mean, is this a elite defense that you can't run the ball on?
Well, the Purple People Eaters, I think, have 3 or 4 guys in the Hall of Fame.
Right, exactly.
They went to 4 Super Bowls, so I'm not yet ready to make that comparison. But, yeah, they're a good run defense. There's no question about it. But this offensive line of the Eagles, you know, they feed off of it. And you know, I think they feed off the confidence that they had. Listen, this is going to be a close game, Mike. I got the Eagles winning by a score of 20-13, but this will be a close game.
20-13, and an Eagle victory gets you $1 coffee the day after that victory. Now, is the route the same as last week? I know it's a little later game, so is the 1:30 DD where you stop on the way?
Well, Mike, you know, the game may be later, but we on ESPN are around the clock, so I have to be there at about 7 a.m. for shows on SportsCenter and Sunday NFL Countdown. So my route never changes. I'm pretty superstitious, so I go down Lanola Road, hit 130, hang a left, go south on 130 for about 100 yards, slide into the Dunkin' Donuts parking lot in the same spot. And if somebody's in my spot, I wait until that person leaves.
Unless it's Vinny or Big Vinny, right? You can't tell him to move.
I wait. I just wait patiently. I pull into my same spot on 130, and I get 4 dozen donuts and a medium coffee and 1 extra bag of donuts for my own self to enjoy on my ride down to the game.
By the way, don't forget to follow him.
You didn't ask me what donut I get. Right?
I know
every time.
I know they limited the choices there. I'm taking you for
no. For me personally,
right? I'm taking you as an apple in the inside.
Oh man, I get that all over my suit and tie. Are you crazy? I'm going plain donut. I'm going to plain stick every time.
How do you take your coffee, Sal?
Extra cream, extra sugar.
Just like me. See, smart guy. Sal Pal ESPN on Instagram for his instant analysis and all over.
And I go in there and all I say is extra, extra. They know exactly what
I love it.
Extra.
Well, hopefully we will be talking on Radio Row as the Eagles advance. You have 20-13. Sal Pal Fridays here on the Sports Bash. All right, pal. We'll catch up next week.
Instagram is Sal Pal ESPN. I'll have my Instagram instant analysis of the game up there probably tomorrow. But we got a lot of good stuff from the Eagles locker room today.
Great stuff. All right, Sal. Appreciate it as always.
See you, man.